I still don't know what I saw, but it knew I was there. It was late, probably close to 2 a.m., and I'd just gotten off work at the hospital. I was exhausted, bleary-eyed, but as I turned into my street, I noticed a faint, flickering light near my neighbor's house. It was odd, like the light was swaying, almost like someone was carrying a candle in the middle of the street. My neighbor, Mrs. Connors, was in her 70s and lived alone. I thought maybe she was in trouble, so I got out of my car to check. The closer I got, the clearer I could see that it was a person, someone hunched over and cloaked in this heavy dark coat, carrying a dim lantern. They stood right at Mrs. Connors' window, motionless, with their head tilted to the side, staring through the glass. For a moment, I froze. I didn't want to startle them, but something deep down told me not to make my presence known. I whispered, "Hey, you all right?" And immediately, the lantern snapped off, and the street plunged into complete darkness. I waited, heart pounding, but the figure didn't move. It just stood there, in the exact same position, even without the light. I could see its outline against the window, just staring. Then, as if it had heard my heartbeat, it slowly turned toward me, though I couldn't make out a face, just the eerie white glint of eyes catching a faint bit of moonlight. The figure began to smile, this slow, stretching grin. I didn't stick around. I bolted back to my car and locked the doors, my heart pounding so loud I thought I might pass out. I sat there watching as the figure walked backward into the trees, disappearing completely into the dark. The next day, I went to check on Mrs. Connors. She looked pale and exhausted, and when I asked if she'd seen anything strange, she nodded slowly. She told me in a shaking voice that she hadn't slept all night. She'd heard someone whispering her name over and over from outside the window. She never opened the curtains.